How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about yet another impeachment effort against President Donald Trump. I've lost count on how many impeachment efforts there have been. Even before he got elected, there was an effort to impeach him. Okay, you're talking about the whole Spygate thing from the FBI. Then came the Russiagate thing, took 3 years, $40 million, 500 subpoenas. People were getting ruined financially, locked up over ticky-tack little charges they never would have got if not for the Russiagate thing. Then came the actual impeachment with the Ukraine phone call, which was a nothing burger. They were unsuccessful in that effort to impeach him. And now here we are again with like a week left in his administration because Trump did it. He actually conceded recently. He said it, and then he said it again today. But you got a week left in the administration, and now they're trying to impeach him again. And they're saying that the impeachment might not even start until 100 days after he is out of office. Now, you got to ask yourself this. First of all, why are they trying to impeach him again, although it did not work the first actual time and the other efforts to get impeachment didn't even go anywhere? That's the first thing. The second thing is, why would they try to impeach him when he's not even in office? 100 days after the fact, why would that be sensible? Why would that be a thing you would actually do? How would that help the Democratic Party or whoever wants to see him impeached? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. And I think the first thing is they want to see him out of office right now. The Democrats, it is. Okay, so it could be a strategy for that reason. They want Mike Pence to do the 25th Amendment, which means if Trump is no longer able to be the president for whatever the reason may be, whether your health, your mental, if he's no longer able to be the president, then Mike Pence comes in and he becomes the president. They want to do that right now because that would validate all of their impeachment efforts since before the election. You're talking about years and years and years. This has been going on, at least about 5 years now, since 2015 when he was running, and then 16, 17, 18, 19, and right now, as I speak, in 2021, all right, they are still trying to get him out. So if they were able to get him out successfully, whether 25th Amendment or impeachment, it'll work just the same. Since they know they can't get the 25th Amendment, although they want it, they want to do the impeachment, right, to get him out. If they can't get him out before Joe Biden's inauguration, then they want to get him after the fact to also validate what they had been saying for the past few years, talking about Trump. He's unfit. He shouldn't be the president. He's bad for the country. He's ruining the country. They want to be able to try and validate their argument. And when I say they, I mean whoever wants to see him get impeached, whether it be those on the left, mostly on the left, or the right. But beyond that, if they're successful in their impeachment, then he cannot run again in 2024. And if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments below. But that's what I've been reading. If you get impeached, you can't run again. You can't just come back. You're pretty much done. Also, the charge they want to hit him with is, I think, inciting a riot. That could carry some penitentiary time in the world, not just being barred from office or being removed from office. So they would love to see Trump behind bars. So they might try to actually bring him up on charges. Now, that is the farthest of far cries. I mean, we know that a lot of these alphabet letter organizations are kind of, in for people like Hillary, people that got a lot of political power. And some of these people should be locked up, but they're not because they have political power. But if Donald Trump gets locked up out of all these people, then you know that it's crooked. So I seriously doubt you're going to lock Trump up for inciting a riot. I seriously doubt it because, first of all, you got to be able to prove that he was the one that went out there and said, hey, storm the Capitol, do X, Y, and Z. I don't see any proof or any evidence of that. So I don't think that'll be a thing they'd be able to get off. But if they're able to successfully get impeachment done, then that would bolster their case. Although that particular criminal case would end pretty quickly. That'd be a futile effort, but they would try to do it regardless of what's going on. But the question is, do they have a chance with this impeachment thing? I think Democrats have drawn up articles of impeachment, and I'm not really sure how it goes. Like, do they draw it up and then vote, or is it voted on after they announce that it's been drawn up? Let's just say, I think this is the way it works. They draw it up, then they vote on it in the House. It could pass the House, Because remember, the whole thing with the Ukraine phone call, that passed the House. And then it had to go to the Senate where they killed it because there was a Republican majority in the Senate. And I think there might have been some Democrats that voted, but I know it was a Republican majority in the Senate that killed it. This is why I was saying the Georgia race was so important, because if we're not able to keep the Senate, then they could pretty much do whatever they want with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris presidency, then a Democrat House, which is already that way before the election. Although Republicans gained some seats, it's still controlled by the Democrats pretty heavily. And then you got a Democrat-controlled Senate. They could do whatever they want for the most part. So if it passes the House, it might end up passing the Senate. Although that's going to be kind of a tall order. That's going to be a very tall order. And that might be why they're looking at doing this after the election, because at that point, they'll be able to have Kamala Harris as a tiebreaker, along with the two new senators from Georgia, which are Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. Okay, so that, I think, is their reasoning behind this. But like Trump said, the whole thing about 25th Amendment might not even be for Trump. They might want it to be for him, but it might not be. They're bringing that opportunity up. They're bringing that possibility up, but that could be for Joe Biden. I mean, we all see Joe Biden. The man is old, and you can't live forever. He's what, 78 years old, and looks to be 1,008 years old. I think that he will be out of office before Trump would successfully get impeached. That's my humble opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. He could be looking like, Morgan Freeman, old when he's young, even though that's not the case. But he could just look old and look frail and live for, like, I don't know, 40 more years. Who knows? But I mean, it don't look too good. Even if he's still able to be around and be kicking, he might not be able to function as a president. So they might want to just have him be the placeholder. We can that brings him through the election and then put in Kamala Harris. I mean, I was saying that before this election even was, at the 0 hour of being decided and then being debated or deliberated, whatever the case may be. Okay, so that still might go on, and they may do so through the 25th Amendment. But I think that it wouldn't be a forceful removal of Joe Biden. I think he would just step down and retire. I mean, Biden even said that. You could say he was joking or whatever, and that's fine, but he said it. He was like, hey, if I ever had disagreement, between myself and Barack Obama to where I couldn't continue, I make up a disease and just retire. It could be the same thing here. Oh, man, I got Parkinson's. I need to go ahead and just stay home with my grandkids, this, that, and the third. He could do that. I wouldn't be surprised at all. That'd just be, yeah, I expected that to happen because he's too old. The oldest president ever. I mean, Trump is no spring chicken, but good grief. Trump is 74 and old. Biden is what, 78 or 79. He'll be, I think, 80 in his first year or two. So this is an old man. He might not last too much beyond one term. And I think that amendment could be used for Joe Biden rather than Donald Trump. But we all know what's going on here. The Democrats just want to prove a point. They want to try to hurt Republicans, hurt conservatives. And that riot was a golden ticket, because now they got the license to do a lot of different things without much kickback from the Republicans. A lot of us see the Republicans in power and we say, hey, you guys aren't really doing enough. You guys are kind of weak. You guys are kind of soft. But we don't see the everyday things that the Democrats try to do, the extreme things they try to do that they cannot do because they have the opposition of Republicans to keep them in check. Okay, especially when you have a Republican majority anywhere, that keeps the Democrats in check. But without the Republican majority and without the moral high ground, and with this, political football called the Capitol riot, those checks are going to be weakened to almost nothing. So you're going to see a lot more ridiculous things happening over the next few days, weeks, months. I can only hope that some people in the Democratic Party, Joe Manchin, cough, cough, hopefully a guy like him could be the stopgap. Ironically enough, I think what I'm saying would be correct. Within the Democratic Party, you're going to have people that don't want to see things go all the way far to the left, that don't want to see AOC and the squad take the party over. They want to get more back to the center. Joe Biden himself might even go back to the center if people in the Democratic Party are going to force him to go there. It's going to be a tug of war between the AOCs of the world and then the Joe Manchins of the world. It's just a matter of who has the most juice, who has the most influence, and who, at the end of the day, will make the best decision. People like Nancy Pelosi already fighting with AOC. So we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. But with the whole impeachment kerfuffle, that is a tool they've been trying to use for years. And if they're successful in doing that, you got to thank those that went to the Capitol riot for it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Trump will be impeached? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. And will it be successful? Because, impeachment is just like being brought up on charges, basically. It's not the exact same thing, but it's the same kind of concept. And if the impeachment is successful and then you're removed or whatever the case may be, do you think it'll go all the way there? Will it be successful? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments. I think that it's a 50-50 chance. I think that it could pass the House because, like I said, the whole Ukraine phone call thing passed the House. So it could go to the Senate and it'll go down to guys like Joe Manchin. I think Joe Manchin that spoke out against the 25th Amendment. I'm not really sure about the impeachment, what he said on that. But it'll take guys like him to speak out against impeachment in the Senate for it to not go forward because you already got two new Democratic senators and they're going to have the virtual majority once you add Kamala Harris as that +1. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.